Oh boy. We're gonna talk about a whole bunch of unusual but very useful hunting gift ideas that you just might wanna buy for yourself. Stick around.
Gear up and get outside.
I've got some suggestions in here at every price point, some cheap stuff and some very expensive stuff, and then everywhere in between. I'll leave links in the description below. The first gift idea that would really wow them, they probably wouldn't expect, is this Rad Power Bikes Rad Runner 3 Plus. And what I like about it is that it is very multi-purpose. It's not necessarily designed just to be a hunting e-bike like some from Rambo or Quiet Cat or Baku. This one is really made to be used around town as a utility bike, and now I'm using it on a hunting trip. I think it's pretty fun and pretty useful. It's got fat tires with some good knobs on it, front suspension, and if you get this little trailer like I have, then it could very likely work as a deer cart to haul your deer out. So I'm hoping to have that experience either later today or tomorrow. We'll see if luck has it. But that's a lot of money to spend on a gift, so let's move on to the next thing. This is a thermocell device. Now, thermocells come up a lot among hunters because a lot of times when you're out there, especially on early season hunts or spring hunts, when you're turkey hunting, it can be really buggy, and that can be obnoxious and annoying and make you move and make noise and scare off the game. A thermocell is something you can stick in your pack or stick right next to you, and it'll emit some insect repellent that will keep them at bay. It's very useful. It does work. Sometimes if it's really bad, I still double up with some bug spray and this, but I find this to be a very handy device, and it's a great thing to buy for a hunter. One thing you might not think of offhand is something like this. This is a canvas tarp from White Duck Outdoors. Now, I've featured this in some of my other videos, and that's because I really do use it all the time. I think something like this is super handy for hunting, and more so than like a blue plastic tarp or something. Hey, Huck. Find any grouse? Oh, he's old and deaf. This is an 8-foot by 10-foot canvas tarp. It's pretty heavy duty. I use it for all kinds of things, from covering up gear to laying down in my tent as a floor mat. For hunting, it's great to put down in your truck bed and put your game on top of it. It breathes better than a plastic tarp, so you're less likely to spoil some meat. And it cleans off pretty nice too, so you can even just wrap your game in there to get it home. So a canvas tarp is kind of a unique thing, and it's super useful, not just for hunting, but for all kinds of stuff. If your person has a high-end rifle or a rifle they're really proud of, then a high-end rifle case might just be the thing for them. This is a canvas rifle case, and this is an interesting case because, one, it's a bit heavier than most, but it's super thick, very well padded, and has fleece padding inside, so it's gonna be very soft on any gun finish. If they got a nice Cerakote on there or high-end optics, you're not gonna be worried about that getting scuffed up and scratched inside. It also has these handy pouches on the exterior, which can easily come off and on. So I keep like my ammo and magazine in this, but I can take that off and lock it away in a separate compartment when I'm at home. There's another longer pouch here that's useful for all kinds of things. So it's got heavy duty straps there, and then it's got these that can wrap around anything. So you could strap that directly onto an ATV or even say my bike here, and that could be used as a scabbard. There's one thing I don't like about it. The sun or whatever has kind of made that get all cloudy, and so that's apparently just kind of a low quality little deal, which, you know, I don't even use it, but it just kind of looks bad now. If you want to get some high-end technical apparel for your hunter, then Sitka makes some really great stuff. I did another video on this where I highlighted kind of the 3 pieces of Sitka gear that I really like, and that's what I'm wearing today on this hunt as well. It's a simple long sleeve crew that's thin and lightweight, so it's good early season or late as a layer. There's this Waypoint jacket. It's a soft shell jacket that I love. It's got Gore-Tex, and it keeps the wind out pretty well. I wouldn't say it's going to work in a torrential downpour and keep you dry, but in just regular, you know, morning rain, morning dew, things like that, it does just fine for me. And then there's the mountain pant, and I love these pants. I could wear these all day, every day for weeks on end. They're comfortable, they're flexible, they have strategically placed pockets, they have a double zipper fly, which I think is awesome. Speaking of pants, you gotta hold them up too, and this belt here, this GL belt, what's that, Groove Life I think is the company. It's a magnetic belt, which I really like, and it's got a little bit of stretch to it. I think it's the most comfortable belt I've ever had. One thing I don't like about it is because this buckle's a little bigger, it's hard to get through some belt loops, including these on the mountain pant. The other thing I have on my belt that I think would make a nice gift is this Gerby Randy Newberg DTS knife. Folding blade knife from Gerber. It's a very heavy duty blade. It's orange and it's very comfortable to grip and hold, so I really like that. And what's unique about it is it also has this second blade. Yeah, which is more of a serrated breakdown blade. I haven't even actually used it on any animal yet, but I think it's an interesting knife that would make a good gift. And it does come with a handy belt pouch as well. Okay, let's talk about a few more atypical things that you might not think of when it comes to hunting. This White Duck Outdoors Philios canvas duffel bag. This was pretty inexpensive. I think I paid around 30 bucks for it. In fact, I bought 3. I like it because it's a nice size. It's a great stuff all bag. Now there's no organization compartments or anything. It's just one big pocket, but with a nice heavy duty zipper on the top, you can stuff your stuff in there. A very good quality shoulder strap as well as grab handles on the ends and on the top. Now this is pretty lightweight. It rolls up into very small, so when I'm storing it at home, it can stay out of the way. But I just think it's a great grab all gear bag just to stuff your camo or your winter or your cold weather gear, stuff like that. Now almost every hunter at some point is gonna have wet boots. So a boot dryer also makes an excellent gift if they don't already have one. This is a peat dryer. Now this is cool because the company, Peat, is based out of a little town in North Idaho called St. Mary's. I'm not far from there now. And Peat makes them right there. This is an electric model you gotta plug in. They also make a version where you can just use a little Coleman disposable propane bottle. It uses heat, it doesn't blow. It's great to support a USA made company making some outdoor gear. It's always important to have light on your person when you go hunting. Now I usually carry a headlamp, but I just found out my batteries were dead, so I was glad I had this as a backup with me. This is a flashlight. It's more of a tactical style flashlight. It's from a company called Cyan Sky. It's a Cyan Sky P25. I like it because it's rechargeable, so it has a really good lithium battery in there that's so far lasting a very long time. And it has a button on the back. You can either just kind of press and hold to just turn it on and off quick, or you press it and leave it on. Then it has different brightness settings, 4 I believe. Yep. You can hold this down and you can have it flash. I always have this in the truck and then I take it with me whenever I'm out at night. This is the Havalon Piranta Edge. Now, I did another full video on these replaceable blade knives and you can go and watch that if you want to see how I tested a whole bunch of them. It has these surgical blades or like scalpel quality blades, and the nice thing about these is that they're just really sharp all the time. You don't have to sharpen a blade, and when this one goes dull, which it will, and it will relatively quickly, you simply swap it out for another, and they usually come with a whole bunch. I think this one came with a dozen extras or so, and then you can always go and get more. So the great thing about these is low maintenance. You don't have to worry about sharpening. This will field dress, skin. I even use these to process deer at home. And this one's nice because it's open through the back here, so it's easy to clean. The only downside is it's pretty tricky to change this blade without the little device it comes with to do so, or a pair of pliers. Just feels unsafe. I don't like that, but otherwise I love this knife, and this has been one of the most popular ones forever. Here's a little oddball device. This is called the Creed Outdoors Sling Saddle. Now I used to use a gun sling that didn't have like a rubberized grip. I was always annoyed when I had my backpack strap on that it would just slip off my shoulder. You slip it one end on your backpack strap and then you just put your sling right inside this hook and it just keeps it in place. It's nice because then your rifle isn't just slipping off your shoulder all the time, and you can even go hands-free somewhat. So if they don't have that, it's just kind of a fun little gadget they might not think of or even knows exists to solve a problem that I think a lot of hunters have. Okay, here's a couple other little practical things. One is this trauma kit. Now, I always carry a little first aid kit, and I thought that was a good idea, but the Boy Scout in me said, wow, I'm out here hunting using guns and blades. I mean, something could really go wrong, and if it did, you'd want something more than just some Band-Aids and Neosporin, right? So this has a few extra things in there for more critical injuries. It's got pressure trauma dressing and a SWAT T tourniquet. Now, hopefully I never ever use these, but since I'm out there, I figured this doesn't weigh a lot. I throw it in my pack and I feel a little more prepared for emergencies. I also carry this little number, and I've mentioned this in some backpacking videos I've made, but this is a 4-class Trek pad. This comes from Decathlon. I love Decathlon as a store. Most people think of it for maybe camping and backpacking type of things, but they also have some good hunting stuff. Now, this isn't purpose built for hunting, but it's nice to have something to sit on. If you're gonna go out and you're still hunting and you're just sitting on the ground for a while, sometimes hours at a time, this just puts a little barrier for both warmth, keeping your butt dry, and also it just makes it a little more comfortable to sit there for longer periods of time. Now here's something that's a little different. This is called the Akpotel. It's a night vision binocular type of a deal. Now this is a little different. It's much less expensive than some of the hardcore night vision stuff you find. It's got an infrared light over here. It takes a little while to boot up, but when you turn it on, you're looking at a little LED screen, and what it'll do is it'll give you full color. It also gives you an infrared picture, and I don't I don't necessarily use it a whole lot during the day or really at all, and I just started using this year. But where I found it interesting is in those early mornings when you're out hiking or walking to your spot. It's pre-dawn, you can't shoot yet, but you're just trying to get an idea if there's anything in there and you don't want to disturb it. So you can just kind of glass around like you would with binoculars, but just see if you're getting a picture and seeing any animals pop up or deer pop up in there just by the shape of their body. And then you'll have an idea of whether you need to stop or change your plan or where you go. So it's great for kind of that early morning scouting or even after dusk. And it can record videos and stuff. It does have some zoom and it has a focus wheel. It even has a tripod mount, has a USB card slot and a USB charging port. It is rechargeable, and that night vision thing is a little unusual, so makes it fun. Here's an idea. How about some shooting sticks? Now, a lot of guys have shooting sticks or something they use for it. Some people like to shoot off a bipod, but I've found I rarely get the opportunity to actually lay down and take a prone shot. I'm almost always hustling or on my knees or sitting down with my back up against something, especially if you're still hunting. So some shooting sticks are a great idea. Now, these are from Swagger, and to be honest, I don't totally love them yet. I think I'm gonna get a different set. I'll try to find a link to the set that I'm interested in down below, and it'll just really help secure that shot when you do get an opportunity. Let's look at the optics I'm using this year. These are some binoculars from Maven. These are the Maven C1 8x42 binoculars. Now this is a good all-purpose binocular. It is not a super high-end binocular, but it's not a cheap, crappy binocular either. This is Maven's entry-level glass, but if entry-level for Maven is like everybody else's mid-grade glass, so it has fully multi-coated lenses. They're very clear, and these are pretty lightweight too. So I find them to do the trick, and I've been using them as my primary hunting binocular for the last couple of years. They do also have the option to pop out that little plug here so that you can put a tripod or you know, extra mount on the end. The other thing I'm using is the Leupold RX 1400i TBRW rangefinder. Now I've also used some rangefinders from Maven. That I really like. I did a video on the best rangefinders and they were in there too, but I like this Leupold just because it's so darn lightweight, it's so compact, and it fits anywhere. It'll go in my pant pocket. It has a red toe LED display, so it's easy to see even in low light, early morning, late in the evening. And it has some tools in there for both bow hunters and for rifle hunters. For the money, at under 200 bucks, it's an excellent option for a hunting rangefinder. Now down here, this little tote or crate or whatever you want to call it is what I've been using this year, just to keep all my hunting gear in the truck that I don't necessarily have in my pack or need on my person all the time. You know, things like extra ammo, extra batteries, extra layers. I've got stuff for my kids when they come, you know, an extra hoodie. And this is called the Rux 70 liter. I don't know, they really don't want you to call it a box. It's a Rux, all right? And what's cool about it is it has this kind of top lid with some elasticity to it, so it stays on there snug. It'll keep things pretty secure. You can secure things up even more with these straps if you really want to. You have these long handles that you could even throw over your shoulders like backpack straps, or you just use it how I do to kind of lift it and carry it like that. It's got end handles as well, so it's easy to kind of grab in the back of your pickup, or I keep it right in the passenger cab of my pickup. It's got kind of this rugged, you know, I don't know if it's PVC, polyvinyl stuff, but it's kind of this rugged material that looks and feels nice. It's going to shed water and all that good stuff. And when you open the crate, you can open it from that side or the other side. Now there's also a bunch of other stuff that got with them where you can kind of hang them on things, hang them on a rack at home, other additional pouches or organizers that go in them. I don't really care about all that stuff, but I'm pretty happy with it and pretty impressed with it. Honestly, the biggest downside is that these cost around a few $100, and I think that's just a bit too much money. It's an interesting product, and I'm glad I have it for hunting season. Honestly, it helps me keep all that random stuff organized. In the past, I've used just literally a cardboard box or a plastic bin or tote that I stick in the back of my truck. And now I've got this, and it's portable, it's convenient. So a few other things I've got in here. These are some hydration electrolyte supplements from Protect with a K in there. This is the lemonade flavor. It's my favorite. You can buy these. They're just little liquid pouches that you can, you rip the top off and you squirt it in your water bottle, or you can just take it with about 8 ounces of water. It mixes itself. It tastes good, but and it's pretty clean. It doesn't have a bunch of it's not packed with a bunch of sugar and random stuff, but it gives you a little jolt of energy and most importantly, electrolytes that help you stay hydrated while you're out. I have not used trail cams a whole lot in the past, but I know a lot of people use trail cams like crazy. And this is a fairly affordable trail cam with a cellular option, which means it'll just send photos to your phone, or you can get them remotely monthly, so long as it has cell service where it's at. You do have to pay an annual fee to these guys to get that enabled, but this is from Moultrie Mobile. I think it's called the Edge, if I'm not mistaken, but it's a relatively compact. It's simple to use. There's not a really complicated interface, you know, just a couple of buttons here. It can take AA batteries, or you can get a rechargeable battery for it. It does take a lot of AA batteries if you go that route, by the way, and so I'm looking forward to getting a rechargeable pack for it. Another thing I have in here just in case is a Sawyer squeeze water filtration system. Now, if I'm gonna go backpacking or maybe even out all day, I might throw this in my pack so that I can just get water from a creek or something, as opposed to carrying a whole ton of water on my trip. Not everybody's willing to buy emergency gear for themselves, so sometimes that does make a great gift. A little knife sharpener might be a good thing to keep even in your pack. So if you're going to be out field dressing, especially for an elk hunt or something that takes a lot more blade to field dress, then something like this little Smith quick sharpener is good to have. If you're not that picky and you just want to get through your animal without having a dull blade, this is a quick way to get it sharpened up or honed up a little bit in the field. And it's very inexpensive. That'd make a really cheap gift. I also want to point out this strap that I've got on here. It says Rick Young Outdoors. I think I bought this at like the Idaho Sportsman Show or something. But this is a very minimalistic binocular harness, and that's why I like it. I like stuff that doesn't have a lot of bulk, lightweight, and just simple, and that's what this is. As you can see, I'm trying to only give you ideas of stuff that I actually have and use. I'm not throwing out a bunch of junk that I just seen on the internet, looked interesting. I mean, this is stuff I use and I like. I just don't remember what all I have in here sometimes. I think I just carry that because it's cool, not necessarily because I'm ever going to use it for a hunt. It can get really cold when you're hunting, especially whitetail hunting. Even out here out west when I'm still hunting, it can be real cold in the late season, and having some hot hands or some hand warmers is an excellent thing to have. This is a piece of gear that I love, that I use all the time, and that comes on pretty much every single outdoor trip I go on. This is the Decathlon MT100 down puffer jacket. It collapses down this small, and if you stuff it in a pack, it goes even smaller. It's packed into its own pocket right now, but there are several reasons I love this jacket. One is the price. Relative to other puffy jackets that can cost easily a few $100s, for $500 from high-end brands, including a lot of those high-end hunting brands, it costs about $100, and the price just came up, unfortunately, but it's still probably the best buy you'll find for this kind of jacket. This is an excellent layering layer. It's your insulation layer, so even on really cold weather hunts, I'll wear this shirt, I'll put this on, and then I put that Sitka Waypoint jacket over top, and I'm good almost in any weather. The quality is excellent for the price. It's got good nylon material. It's somewhat durable. It's not the super thin stuff that rips really easy. It's got real feather down in there. I like this hooded version because that hood fits well and it wraps around your face nicely. Now, the only thing I don't like about this when I'm hunting, the nylon in there can be kind of noisy when your just head is rubbing against it, and that can be distracting, or you don't know what you're hearing and you miss what's going on in the woods. So I don't usually wear the hood when I'm hunting. All right, there you have it. A whole bunch of stuff that you may not even need, but I hope you got some ideas for gifts in there that your hunter will enjoy. Or if you're just looking for yourself, I encourage you to maybe pick up a couple of things in here. I hope this was helpful. If it was, do me a favor and hit that like button, and consider using the links in the description below. That really helps support the channel. And finally, gear up and get outside.